Hey guys, so this is another episode of Let's Talk, and as promised, we're going to speak about business and entrepreneurship 101. Okay, so you want to open a business up. You have an idea, you have a business opportunity, or something you want to go ahead and do. And then you're like, well, what do I do? How do I begin this? What's the process of it? And I'm going to walk you through the basic steps of opening up a business, the paperwork you have to follow through, state and federal, and pretty much, and also in the city, and pretty much what questions you may have and what forms equal to each thing for your better needs, for your business needs, okay? So the first thing you have to do is, you have a name in mind, right? Well, you have to do a name search in your state. So for example, in the state of Florida, you go to the Division of Corporations, you do a name search. If the name is available, then you go ahead and you apply for a corporate name for a corporation. Now you're like, okay, there's different types of corporations, different types of corps. So which one do I do? Which one do I apply for? There's two types of entities. We have corporation, which is Inc., Corp, company. It's all an incorporation. And then we also have an LLC. Now, an LLC is a limited liability company, meaning that your risk, your liability towards that business is very limited. It saves you in your personal assets or other business assets that you may have. In an event of a legal sue, a legal matter, that business is always just that one entity and it's protected. So for example, under an LLC, which is a limited liability company, you are only a member of the company. Yes, you technically own the company, but legally you're a member of the company. You have all of the saying in the business. You know, it was just you, or you can have other members as well, but you're a member of the limited liability company that you choose to file paperwork within the state. The other type of corporation is a regular corporation, okay? So you can name the corporation Inc., company, corp, it's all the same thing. Within these parameters, you have a regular corporation and a small business, okay? Small business, I believe, don't take my word for it, I believe you have to have less than 50 employees is what qualifies you under federal law as a small business. To qualify as a small business, you need to file a type of form with the IRS. So the first thing, for example, you're gonna do is you're gonna apply for your corporate docs, okay? Now, with the corporation, whether it's Inc. or not, you can have shares in the corporation. 100, 1,000, you know, in the event that you would want to sell the shares in the stock market, you may do so. That's another process, not gonna go in this video, but you just add some shares. It's a very easy thing. While you're doing your articles of incorporation, you're applying for it, you add the shares, and then you're done with your corporate documents. Now you're like, okay, I'm a small business, I am just for myself, I have 10 employees or something like that. The advantage of having a small business versus a regular corp is pretty much for tax purposes, okay? So, step number 2, I am going to go over the small business doc afterwards, the actual document that you have to file with the IRS after, because step number 2 is now you have to go to the IRS website. It's a federal website, okay? We're done with state parameters. We're done with state website. Now we're going to IRS website to apply for a tax ID. Okay, our tax ID, totally free, guys, okay? You apply for a tax ID, you put your documents, your corporate information, once your corporation has been approved by your state, okay? So once your corporation has been approved by your states, your articles of incorporation, they're gonna appear on the website for your state. It's public records. So once you have your name, your corporate name approved, then you're gonna apply for a tax ID, okay? So the tax ID is just pretty much a business, like a social security, but for your business, okay? You do that with the IRS, literally takes less than 5 minutes. You can even download it in a PDF, totally free. I forgot to mention, while you're doing state corporate papers, LLC and corp and incorporation have totally different prices. LLC is a little more expensive than corporate, but we're talking about $70, $80. Well, LLC is like $110 to $130. The prices always change. I haven't checked the prices on Florida, but that's pretty much around it. Every state has a different website. Every state has different corporate laws, okay? In the United States, each state is pretty much like its own country. So just because you have a business in Florida with corporate papers, if you go out of state, you still have to apply for another business corporate docs at the other states, okay? Tax ID, then it's another tax ID. Unless you apply for an out-of-state corporation, an out-of-state business, okay, which you're bringing your same corporation from, let's say, Florida to another state, then your EIN, which is your tax ID, is the same, okay? But if you go to another state and you apply for a brand new company, a brand new corporation, whether LLC or not, then it's a different business, okay? It's a different corporation. You have to apply for a new tax ID, okay? So that's that. EIN, it's free. Then you're gonna go to your local county and your local city, okay? Both of them. You have to have a license to do business. So you're gonna need a license for the county and the city and a permit to do business, even if it's an in-house office. Because if you get audited, they're gonna check for that. It's literally just a little paper, a little license. It's very inexpensive, okay? You go to your county, sometimes either county website as well, or location, usually like tax collector, and you just pay the local tax, annual tax or whatever, and you get a license and a permit, okay? Another thing now, if you plan to, if it's something that you're selling, okay? If you have a product and you're selling a product, you cannot, by law, charge tax unless you have a sales tax ID, which is another type of ID, another type of number. It's like a social or EIN. This is a sales tax ID, and the sales tax ID, I believe you do it locally as well through the county, or I forgot. But it's a form that you do either through the county or the IRS, and you just pay for that sales tax ID, and it's very inexpensive as well. But never, ever, ever charge somebody taxes unless you have a sales tax ID, okay? Another thing, let's see. We went over corporations, EIN, in-state and out-of-state. Just a little hint, if you're gonna, move out of state and you're gonna do the corporation in another state, the price from going out of state corp versus doing another in-state corporation in that state, it's huge. Okay, city, county, occupational licenses, permits, sales, retail tax ID. Okay, so another thing, if you're gonna deal with the public and you're gonna have retail services, you're gonna have an actual location where people are gonna be coming in and out, by law you have to have a fire department permit, okay? If not, they can close down your business. So I know, a lot of people charge thousands of dollars to open up a corporation, open up a business, and file all of these paperworks. Guys, all you have to do is do your research, go to the websites, state website, federal website, and this is very inexpensive. You can literally do all this in like a couple hours. It's very easy. Any questions that you may have, you can feel free to DM me. I am not gonna post any websites in this video or anything like that, because I'm not even giving legal advice. This is no legal advice. I'm just pretty much giving you and talking to you about my experience, my personal insights, and what I have done with my businesses, how I do my stuff. I don't pay anybody for anything because I could just do it all by myself. And if you have any questions or so, you can feel free to DM me and I'll go ahead and give you and I'll direct you the right way. I know I have a lot of friends that are doing certain businesses and even small business and stuff like that. I have a lot of questions, and yeah, feel free to DM me. If you're into real estate, if you have multiple properties, the best way to name that property is through an LLC, okay? Each property, you name it with a different LLC. That means that if you have a legal a lawsuit against one property, they cannot touch your other properties, okay? Or if you have a lawsuit against your personal self, those properties are always taken care of. And the best way, this is just a hint that I'm throwing out there. The best way to invest in real estate is to have a different LLC for each investment, okay? And as well as businesses, as you have to be very careful. One thing is just being a one-time small business. Now, if you have multiple businesses, you want to make sure they're each taken care of separately. And in the event of a lawsuit, each business is an individual business and you're just a member of it. And your personal assets are not in the borderline with all of these businesses either, So I feel like it's a very micro way to dominate and control your assets in your business, and it's the best way possible, okay? Stay tuned, and I'm going to be doing more videos. Thank you so much for all of the feedback that I have gotten, and always go for your dreams, and remember that the power of belief will take you places you've never been before. Stay tuned, guys.